Hello and welcome to Spotlight on Wawarsing. I am your host Elijah Espinosa, and today's show features Cassandra and Megan from Catholic Charities Community Services of Orange and Sullivan. Thank you for being here. Would you like to introduce yourself further?
Thank you for having us. My name is Megan Arnold, and I'm a social worker for the State Targeted Response Program.
And my name is Cassandra Quidnow, and I'm a clinician with the State Targeted Response in Ulster County as well.
So can you tell me a little bit about what your agency does?
Sure, Cassandra.
You want me to?
Sure.
All right. So we are working with Catholic Charities, and Catholic Charities has a very strong presence in Orange and Sullivan County, but there's also presence here in Ulster County. So what Catholic Charities does is it's one of the human services agencies under the Catholic Charities Archdiocese of New York. It's committed to building a compassionate and just society. Catholic Charities serves the homeless, the hungry, the community, the emotionally and physically handicapped, individuals struggling with substance abuse, immigrants, and marginalized and the vulnerable. And we collaborate with other parishes, Catholic, non-Catholic, and we also partner with a ton of community partners throughout all the counties and throughout all of New York to deliver the best services that we can to those vulnerable populations.
So is it somewhat similar to like what Red Cross does?
Well, I think that we serve a couple different populations. So I'm thinking that the Red Cross is more for like emergency management, like they respond to emergency situations like hurricanes and stuff. You know, we'd probably definitely jump in there, but primarily, especially with Catholic Charities of Orange and Sullivan and Ulster, we work with individuals struggling with substance use disorder.
Now, can you tell me what COTISTR means?
Sure. It's a long acronym. Basically, it is the Center of Treatment Innovation, and it's part of the New York State Targeted Response to the Opioid Crisis.
What is the mission of your program?
So I think that the mission is really strongly tied to how we got the funding, which I think is a really important part because we're working under a grant right now, and I'm kind of skipping ahead, but the federal government had wanted to respond to the opiate epidemic throughout the country. And at this point, it's almost like either you know someone who's affected by heroin or opiate addiction, or you know someone who knows someone, whether it's a family member, a friend, or anything like that. It's obviously like a really huge problem ravishing our communities throughout the country. So the federal government responded by allocating a pretty substantial amount of funding towards addressing it. And each state was given a certain amount of money from SAMHSA, which is the governing body for substance abuse and mental health services on a federal level. So then New York State's governing body for all alcohol and substance abuse services is under OASIS. Mm-hmm. So that's the Office of Alcohol and Substance Abuse Services. So OASIS kind of decided to take this money and focus on addressing the opiate crisis in the rural parts of the state. So they looked at a few different things. They looked at rates of overdose, rates of emergency room visits due to overdose, rates of fatalities due to overdose, rates of Narcan usage, and then one of the major things they also looked at was lack of access to treatment. So that's really where they focused, was those rural areas where individuals who are in need of treatment for alcohol and substance abuse weren't able to access it easily. So Ulster County was one of 16 counties last April that were given grant money, and Sullivan was also one. So Catholic Charities was chosen as the agency to kind of roll out this programming in Sullivan and Ulster County. So we have a team here in Ulster and we have a team in Sullivan. And what we're really focusing on, and I steal this line from Megan because I love it, right? You know, when you look at the data, there's 8 out of 10 individuals who should be accessing treatment and aren't. So our main goal is really capturing and engaging those 8 out of 10 individuals and moving them to a place of willingness to engage in treatment, so we can try to move them into a place of recovery and sobriety. So the funding kind of really works towards our mission, and that's how we got the money, and that's, you know, what we're really focusing on doing.
So when you find these people who fall victim to opioid use, how do you help them?
Well, our program has many facets to it. And so let's say we meet an individual with an opiate addiction, or it can be any type of substance use disorder. We meet with them and try to process where they are at, if they want to go to treatment. What are the barriers to getting to treatment, whether it be medical insurance or geographic location. We have a care manager who provides specific services to assist them with getting their insurance up and running so that they can be referred to outpatient treatment or inpatient treatment. We have a care manager that can access and assist with exploring housing options if their housing is unsteady. If they have no income, it's linking them to a resource that can provide kind of that temporary assistance until they get back on their feet.
It's great that you guys do that. So can you tell me a little bit about the medication-assisted treatment?
Yeah, so one of the parts of what we're expected to do under the grant is to increase access to medication-assisted treatment. So medication-assisted treatment are medications prescribed to you by a psychiatrist or a physician that assist an individual in reaching sobriety, abstinence, and recovery. They're sort of like, you know, if you're struggling with a mental health issue, maybe you have depression and you are prescribed an antidepressant to kind of help you overcome some of those symptoms so you can, you know, move to a place that's a healthy state of mental being. That's somewhat like the same premise of medication-assisted treatment, and it comes in a few different forms. And I think the longest form of medication-assisted treatment that a lot of people are familiar with is methadone. We're not going to be working with methadone. What we're going to be working with is a couple of the newer versions of medication-assisted treatment. So that's Suboxone and Vivitrol. And Suboxone is a partial opiate blocker, meaning if an individual takes Suboxone, there's receptors in your brain, right? And those receptors, the opiate attaches to them and they fill the receptors, and that's kind of like what causes an individual to feel that highness. It releases a ton of dopamine into your body. So the Suboxone partially blocks that receptor. So if a person takes in opiates, they don't get as high as they want to. And it also really helps an individual work through some of those real intense cravings and cravings and triggers and things that would have them use opiates or relapse on opiates. And then Vivitrol is a full opiate blocker, and it's an injection that an individual gets one time monthly, and that fully blocks the receptor, so it helps even more so a person, work against those cravings and the triggers to use opiates. So
I think one of the most important components of the medication-assisted treatment is combination with counseling and behavioral therapies as well, just to provide a whole patient approach to the treatment of substance use disorders. In addition, the ultimate goal of MAT, medication-assisted treatment therapy, is full recovery, including the ability to live a self-directed life. This treatment approach has been shown to improve patient survival rates, increase retention into treatment, decrease illicit opiate use and other criminal activity among people with substance use disorders, and increases patients' ability to gain and maintain employment.
It kind of allows a person to not be consumed by the cravings and allows them to engage fully in treatment, so that they can learn the tools and the coping skills and the things that they need to stay and remain abstinent, not being fully consumed with all the cravings that come with an opiate addiction.
So the medication that you were talking about, the one that blocks the opioid use, does that keep people from using it in general, or does that just make them want to use it less?
Vivitrol?
Yeah.
And the 28-day injection.
For either, I think it makes them just want to use it less. I mean,
Yes.
those medications are used in conjunction with treatment and the individual's willingness to stop using opiates. I think that there needs to be a real commitment to recovery when utilizing medication-assisted treatment, because it's not a fix-all.
Right.
So, what services does your program provide?
We provide comprehensive substance abuse treatment evaluations. Our clinical team provides substance abuse assessments, mental health assessments. We provide service planning for individuals who want to go into treatment and individuals suffering from a substance use disorder. We also, as we had discussed earlier, we have a care manager who works with individuals to assess and address needs and provide referrals as appropriate to resources within the community that addresses one's social, physical, emotional, and spiritual needs.
We also do family and individual therapy. So we use evidence-based treatment interventions. Our team empowers individuals and families to work through the challenges of addiction and recovery. We have recently attended a training utilizing the CRAFT model. So one of the things that the grant is really focusing on is also addressing the family's needs, not just the individual who's struggling with alcohol and substance abuse, but we're able to provide family therapy and family counseling using evidence-based practices. So really addressing the family as a whole, I think, is a really important piece of this grant that I'm very excited about.
Our program also employs certified recovery peer advocates. These individuals provide essential supports for not only the individuals coming into our program, but also their families seeking to engage in treatment. They utilize their own recovery experiences and stories to inspire, support, and connect with individuals struggling with addiction and individuals in early recovery from opiate dependency. So these are individuals that have lived experience and have kind of been through, for lack of a better word, the system. And now we're kind of, on the other side of their recovery.
So, what's a Narcan and how does it work?
So this is Narcan. So this is a Narcan kit. Narcan is used to prevent or intervene when an individual is overdosing on opiates.
So it's post overdose?
Yeah. Yes. So if you find an individual and you believe that they're overdosing, you would utilize and dispense Narcan to them, and it would bring them out of the overdose. Our program, they're like family. Yes, they're like family. No, but our program offers Narcan training. So one of the things we can do is be mobile. So we're able to go out into the community and meet with clients and meet with family members out in the community in Ellenville, in Saugerties, in Woodstock, in Shandaken, Cragsmore, all of that. So we're able to go out to individuals and train them one-on-one. So, like, say, for instance, like, if you had a friend who kind of maybe suspected that their loved one was using opiates, by all means, you should most definitely have a Narcan kit available to you. And we can come out and we can provide that training. It's not very long, maybe about 15 to 20 minutes, and we give a really good, broad overview of how to use Narcan, how to spot an overdose, a lot of kind of information and facts associated with the use of Narcan and stuff like that. And then at the end, you'd be able to get a free kit. The interesting thing is there's a standing order for every individual in New York State over the age of 18 that you're able to have this Narcan kit because it is a prescribed medication. Mm-hmm. There's a program you can also go to participating pharmacies and be able to ask for a Narcan kit, and they should be able to also provide that.
So how often do you guys travel, and how do people know like where you're going to be?
We travel a lot. We are a mobile unit, meaning we mostly are out in the community in different areas of Ulster County. We are currently in the process of solidifying a schedule and then sending it out to community providers, letting them know where in the county we're going to be on what days and what times. We do plan on coming down to Ellenville on a regular basis to provide additional services down in this area.
So you're very involved, so could you tell me like an estimate of what you think the overdose rate is like around here?
We do have some statistics. In 2016, there were 134 overdoses, with 26 being fatal and 108 being non-fatal. Esopus, Ellenville, and Lloyd have had a disproportionate number of non-fatal overdoses. In general, for males, the largest number of incidents came in the age range of 20 to 29, while for females, the age range was 30 to 39. The statistics in the study showed males made up nearly 2/3 of the total overdoses.
So how does somebody contact your program if they need you?
So we each have work cell phones. Everybody on our team has work cell phones because we're mobile. We want to make sure that we're accessible at all times. So my phone number is 845-544-9087.
My phone number is 845-281-8478. Or we do have a general number with a mailbox, area code 845-340-9170, extension 117.
Was there anything else you guys wanted to share with us?
I think I just want to really push the fact that opiate addiction can happen to anybody.
Yes.
And I know that there's a really strong stigma sometimes associated with it, but while that stigma still remains, it's going to be really difficult to be able to alleviate this issue throughout our communities. So to really have a conversation and understand that, you know, you're probably not the only one who is either going through an addiction or has a loved one going through an addiction, that there is help out there, that it's okay to ask for help, that recovery is possible and sobriety is possible, and to really reach out to us because we're out here in the community really trying to fight this epidemic like hands-on, and we're really passionate about the work we do. So if you're struggling or if you know somebody who's struggling, just please reach out to us.
Or even, I'll piggyback off of that, even if you're a family member who has a loved one that is in active addiction, you know, we are able to meet with you and provide necessary tools to address the addiction, you know, when you or the other individual is ready.
It's really great that you guys do that. For more information on today's topic, you can visit CCCSOS.org. During office hours, you can call 845-281-8478, or after hours, you can call 845-467-0861. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Spotlight on Wawarsing. See you next time.